Whatever you do, do not give her your social security number. No. No. Wait. Don't hurt me. Personal information is something that's important to all of our lives, especially in the world of technology that we live in, down to the very point where you could lose your identity if you're not careful enough. And with the access of internet, it becomes all that easier tenfold. This, upon many other reasons, is why you should never hand out your info to untrusted sources, even if that source is a cute anime girl created to help file your tax return. Wait, what? Tax Heaven 3000 is a visual novel dating simulator that may or may not just compromise your information in such a fashion that I've only seen way back when in those old pop-up scams from 2009. This visual novel is supposed to allow you to put in your real tax information to where it will produce a result for you to submit for this year's upcoming tax day. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I'm knowledgeable about anything about taxes, but I'm digitally inclined and human enough to know that if anything asks for my social security number that's not governmentally affiliated with my area or is an anime girl, I know I shouldn't trust it. But maybe I'm just paranoid. Maybe I just don't get it. Maybe I just need a little more information. So when I dug a little, I found out something that just left me with more questions than answers, such as, why does this webpage look so alluring and sketchy at the same time? Why is there a collector's edition that includes a full installation alongside a body pillow? Who bought this and why are they still breathing? Why is there an X-rated patch and why does it use a D's Nuts joke as its basis? Why was this produced by Mischief, the same people who created the Big Red Boot? Each one of these questions I asked myself further tested my sanity, but there was all but one question in my head that truly mattered. Does the anime girl truly ask for your social security number? I knew the only way to get my true answers behind it all would be to experience the game for myself, so I installed the game, opened it up, and was met with this. Oh no, this is just bad. Now I know this really doesn't need to be stated, but I know I have to say it. Please don't put your real information into this game. I have no clue what this game is running through or where the information goes, but I think that alone should be all the more reason to not do it. However, before this is a tax software, there is a visual novel, so allow me to introduce you to Tax Heaven 3000. Yes. Literally within milliseconds of hitting new game, I must already submit my real credentials to continue, or at least I was supposed to. Once again, I will repeat, do not give this visual novel any of your personal details if you decide to play it. While it does not fact check it, it doesn't mean that is now necessarily safe. So after entering my very real credentials, the game continues. You play as whoever you just named moments before, but I'll just refer to him as the protagonist, or Protag, or Protag-kun, or you get the point. Protag-kun just moved into a new apartment with only a TV, folding chair, and clothes. I have no clue to why he has little to nothing, but I guess that's none of our business. He moved here to start what seems to be a new chapter of his life. He uses this as a fresh start to create a new identity where he will be more organized, happier, or possibly find that special someone. Wow, such big aspirations. I hope no one of interest will bump into him, introduce themselves, and then ask if he's a US resident. So, Protag walks outside with the goal of finding a store that sells stationery so that he can finish his lease paperwork. But of course, what I said previously was not a joke. Of course it's not. I'm never sure exactly what kind of products a store like this sells, but I bet I can at least get a pencil in here. Uh-oh. Watch. Oof. Haha, my name is Iris. What's yours? I'm CyKer. I just moved here. Well, yeah. It's, comically funny how inhuman that question sounds. This is Iris. Iris is naive, but is sincere and earnest, or at least that's how the website describes her. I don't really agree with it, but Iris walked into this town not really being able to socialize with anyone until she went to the library. There, she spent little to no time scanning every single page of books on all subjects, almost like a machine. This ultimately led to her learning and developing a lot of good traits, such as being friendly and outgoing. And all of that led up to this very moment, where she bumps directly into the protagonist, asking if he's a US resident. After giving up some personal information, Protag-kun told her that we needed some stationery, which happened to catch her attention. She tells us that she's a big fan of stationery and that she mainly uses it for writing down things in her notebook. What does Iris write down in her notebook? Everything. This fact will be important later. Iris hands up a very intricate pencil alongside a cute eraser that is the same as what she uses. This fact will also be important later. She tells us that having stationery on hand is super important as it allows us to do very important things, such such as writing down our social security. Come on, dude. They're not even hiding the fact that they want you to give up this information. Iris takes quite an interest in us and offers to show us around town if we're not busy because it's tax season. But of course, Protag-kun accepts the offer and somehow secures a coffee shop date for tomorrow at 12:30. Protag, taking this as a huge win, relishes in his victory as a lot of things seems to be going well for him, especially on his first day. So he goes home feeling accomplished and sleeps like no one's ever slept before. He then later wakes up at 4:24 a.m. realizing that Iris mentioned that it's tax season and he hadn't yet done his taxes. And you know, even though the thought he had wasn't relatable, waking up at a disturbed time because you remember something is actually pretty relatable. So I really gotta hand it to the game for that one. The protagonist shows up eagerly to the coffee shop, and what comes next shouldn't surprise you. As he's taking in more of the store's view, Iris calls out to him and he heads over to talk with her. Hey, CyKer, over here. Iris is waving at me enthusiastically from the corner table. I got here a little early. I'm glad you came. It's so exciting meeting a new person in a new place, don't you think? Especially when you're a single, wait, well actually, CyKer, are you finally singly or jointly on your 22? This game quite literally sells Iris as a very nice person, who the main character just more than willingly hands over his information to. Once again, I will repeat, do not give the anime girl your information. And just in case if you were wondering, yes, you will game over if you select anything other than filing singly, as they quite literally mentioned this as a requirement on their website. I'm not even sure if I respect the game for this, or yeah, no I don't. I should delete that line in the script. Iris finds out the protagonist hasn't done his taxes yet, and she offers to help him get it done. This also pretty much implies that she was just siphoning information from us way before the focus was because of taxes, which is highly odd when you think about it. But you know, it's a cute anime girl, so of course nothing could be wrong about that. Iris proceeds to ask more about the protagonist's identity, such as, does he have any dependents? What is his age? What type of incomes did he have for 2022? Did he use cryptocurrency in 2022? And I also really don't know if this is really how cryptocurrency people talk, but honestly, it's crazy how it didn't surprise me. If you answer with that really weird prompt, she leaves and you get a game over, to which is valid in anybody else's situation. Anyways, back to the information grabs. She asks for your phone number, your email, and I'm pretty sure you get the point by now. After finishing the date, Iris tells her to swing by the library to come and see her again, and the protagonist decides he'll do just that. So a day passes and the protagonist shows up at the library to meet her once again. As he's searching for Iris, he noticed that her notebook is lying on the assistant's desk. So at this point, the game gives us the choice to peek at it, and I chose to pick yes. What was inside was a very interesting journal entry of her most recent days. Okay, maybe it's just a diary. Well, we continue further and we have our contact details that were entered into the game. Apparently, when we met Iris, we never gave her our last name, so the protagonist decides that he should use the pen and eraser that she gave him, and since that automatically means that he would be able to mimic her writing perfectly, sometimes I really wonder what actual person went and created this nonsense. And he decides that it was now time to write in our real last name. And how do I know it's our real last name? The game creates a pop-up to clear the air to enter your real last name. This notebook exists so that we will have access to edit our entries just in case we hand Iris the wrong information. So, after falsifying a lot of information, we head back home and do nothing of interest. The next day, Iris sends us a message that she was sorry that she missed us going to the library, and to make up, we could attend her while she was doing errands at the library branch office. I'm pretty sure that wouldn't be allowed in any real scenario, but hey, we're playing a game where you're supposed to solicit real information to an anime girl, so there's no way that would be real. We head on over to see Iris at the office, and it's just like what you would typically expect. Iris exclaims that the copy machine isn't working, and she puts our main protagonist, who has zero experience in fixing anything, to the task. He walks up to the copier, and there's two options: to print the previous or to troubleshoot. Of course, I click print previous, and apparently someone made a copy of their butt print. Yes, this is located inside the office, a public space, inside of a company. People work here. We open up the troubleshooting menu, and then this happens. The terminal machine appears and we have to type in real code to fix it. So after the protagonist realizes that he must input commands into the terminal, and I quote, hack the machine, we, the player, must enter in the codes ourselves. Of course, we didn't actually do anything, we just had to press random buttons on the keyboard for it to type out a pre-written code. But he fixes the machine. And because he fixed the machine, he scores a lot of whole bonus points directly to Iris's heart. But just because we fixed it doesn't mean that we know that it works. So she tells us to upload a PDF file of our W-2 form. Yes, I kid you not. You cannot progress without uploading a PDF file. As there was no checks, I just downloaded a random Persona 4 guide and uploaded it in-game, and it went off with a hitch. No matter how much I look back at this, it really just doesn't look any better. She then asked a whole bunch of information regarding the W2 form, which I was just skip over because I'm sure you get the point. Iris is glad that we accompanied her today and tells us that she really doesn't like the office all that much. The protagonist, being intrigued by this, asks if she's worked in the office before, to which Iris forewarns to never use corporate tax software. I really don't know what to say about this one, so we'll just keep moving along. The protagonist promises and then heads back into town to decide where we want to go next. I decided to head back to the office to see what would change, and upon entrance, we looked around and found some books lying on the table. The books that we saw had some very interesting names, such as Synthetic Human Biology, Brainwashing from a Psychological Viewpoint, A History of the IRS, and How to Win Friends and Influence People. The protagonist gets concerned about who would want to read these books, and then someone shows up.
Oh, new guy, Turbo. Hey, you there, do you work here?
Turbo is, as the game describes it, a predatory finance guy. I'm pretty sure we can all make the connection to who this guy is supposed to represent. He appears to be very impatient and very irritable. He introduces himself and starts asking some questions towards us. We have the choice to introduce ourselves or nah. I chose to introduce because I really wanted to see where this conversation would go. And this is where Turbo pulls out his smooth talking.
Tell me something, Marginal. You look like a law-abiding individual. Have you filed your taxes yet? It's about that time of the year. I always pride myself on being able to help out someone new, and it just so happens that I represent a certain organization that can help you there. Why don't I tell you more for a cup of coffee?
The protagonist tries to blow him off. What? The protagonist attempts to shut down his offer, but then he accidentally leaks that he's getting help from his friend to do his taxes. This sent Turbo down a spiral.
Wait, a friend? She's helping you with taxes? Your taxes? That's highly unusual, you know. Do your friends often help you with your taxes? Well, maybe, but you just moved here. You haven't even known her that long, have you?
He makes a lot of good arguments, but before we were forced into giving up who we were talking about, a librarian shows up and diffuses the conversation, allowing us to escape from the office. Taking a small break from the game, it's around this point where I start debating whether or not if I wanted to continue this game or just drop it from where it's at. I'm pretty sure that we all generally understand what I'm trying to say here. I'm not knowledgeable enough to give any real information regarding whether it's legit, nor can I provide any examples that it's not. I have heard of instances of offline tax calculation software, and this game could just be very much that. Just with a dating visual novel in front of it. But I couldn't stop here. I just needed to know for sure. This game has shown itself to advertise that it will ask for your social security number. It was one of the main reasons that I installed the game to begin with. It felt like a huge joke to me, and I felt like I'd progressed too far just to give up now. So once I continued just a little bit further, I would soon get that question answered. We headed towards the cafe and ordered some drinks. We were given this option to buy one for Iris too, but I chose not to since I really don't care for her. Iris shows up and seemed flustered by the fact that we were here before her. Shortly afterwards, she asked us about where we live, if someone is claiming us as a dependent in their tax return, my job, if I was legally blind, and then finally, yes, you guessed, what is our social security number? And once I reached this prompt, I felt complete. The personal question that I had been answered. So I closed the game, stopped recording, and was finally able to let go of that curiosity and welcome the truth. Yes, the anime girl does ask for your social security number. I hope nobody was actually looking forward to seeing the ending to this game, because to me personally, it doesn't matter.